Look closely at this tissue. It is a glowing, pulsating cluster of living cells. For a long time, carrying extra weight was written off as a symbol lack of willpower or a sign of gluttony. But fat is actually a highly active, incredibly complex, and potentially dangerous organ. For millions of years, human bodies had to survive long stretches of famine. We adapted to hold on to every bit of energy we could find. But then, almost overnight in evolutionary terms, we created a sudden overabundance of highly processed, calorie-dense foods. We engineered these foods to be addictive, and at the same time, we built a world where we no longer need to move to survive. We sit at desks, we drive cars, and we expend very little physical effort to get through the day. This means your body isn't failing you, and there is no reason for shame. Your biology has simply been hijacked by your environment. To take back control, we need to treat fat like the organ it is. Over the next few minutes, we are going to build your personalized metabolic recovery plan. Let's start building your plan. Grab a piece of paper and write down Step 1, target visceral fat. Next to that, make a quick note about your general body shape. Are you more of an apple or a pear? To understand why your shape matters, we first need to look at what fat actually does. Fat is an endocrine organ. This means it actively manufactures chemical signals and hormones that tell your brain, your immune system, and your digestive tract exactly how to operate. This diagram shows the two main ways we store this organ. If you have a pear shape, most of your fat is subcutaneous, stored just under the skin on your hips and limbs. If you have an apple shape, you carry a lot of visceral fat. This type is hidden deep inside your torso. Visceral fat is highly sensitive to stress hormones like cortisol. And because it rests directly against your stomach, intestines, and liver, any chemical reaction here impacts those critical systems immediately. When visceral fat cells detect stress, they release a flood of raw fatty acids right into your bloodstream. Your liver picks them up directly and quickly becomes overwhelmed and overfed. Two people can weigh the exact same amount, but if one carries their weight tightly against their organs, those internal systems are taking constant toxic damage, while the other person remains relatively safe. Now add Step 2, fix the thermostat to your list, and write down 2 highly processed foods you eat regularly that you are willing to swap out for whole foods. We make these swaps to repair your body's internal communication network. A healthy fat organ produces a hormone called leptin. Leptin is a satiety signal. It travels to your brain to deliver the message that you have enough energy stored and that you can stop eating. Look at the right side of this model. When you gain excess fat, those bloated cells produce so much leptin that your brain actually becomes resistant to it. The receptors block the signal entirely. This creates a dangerous loop. Your fat organ is screaming that it is full, but the message never arrives. Your brain genuinely believes you are starving, which drives an intense, continuous hunger. Choosing whole foods over ultra-processed options lowers the constant flood of leptin, allowing your brain's receptors to clear out and repairing the physical communication channel between your gut and your brain. For the next part of your plan, write down Step 3, daily movement to stop friendly fire, and commit to just 20 minutes of physical activity each day. We need daily movement to relieve the physical strain on your fat cells. As you consume excess energy, these cells bloat to hold it. Eventually, they stretch so far that they outgrow their own blood supply. They are starved of oxygen, and they begin to die. Your immune system treats these dead cells as a major emergency. Massive armies of macrophages, specialized immune cells, invade your fat tissue. In a healthy body, these cells make up about 5% of the tissue. In an obese body, they multiply to take up 40%. This diagram shows what happens next. The immune cells trigger chronic inflammation, putting your entire body under friendly fire. The localized battle releases molecules that rip tiny wounds into the walls of your blood vessels. Your body tries to heal them by forming thick plaques, which narrows the vessels and restricts blood flow. Obese tissue is a wounded, leaking organ. That daily 20-minute movement habit is necessary to burn off stored triglycerides, shrinking the cells and relieving internal stress before it damages your cardiovascular system. Write down the final piece. Step 4, shrink the cells to save the system. Right below that, leave a blank space for my why and write down your personal reason for doing this. This step protects your most important metabolic hormone, insulin. Insulin is the signal that tells your cells to absorb glucose from the bloodstream for energy. But the chronic stress and inflammation radiating from excess fat forces cells all over your body to resist insulin. Your body tries to compensate by forcing the pancreas to pump out increasingly toxic amounts of insulin until the overworked pancreas simply breaks. This results in type 2 diabetes. Your blood becomes saturated with unused glucose, acting like tiny, sharp shards that overwhelm your kidneys, blur your vision, destroy your nerves, and radically accelerate how fast your body ages. But this multi-system damage is not a permanent life sentence. All of these toxic effects are directly tied to the physical size of your fat cells. As soon as you begin to shrink those cells, the entire process runs in reverse. Look at these metrics. Once the cells contract, the excess blood fat clears out, your immune system calls off the attack, inflammation subsides, and your body immediately goes to work repairing the damage. By shrinking your fat cells, you force a damaged endocrine organ to contract, reversing the trajectory of your health span through direct medical intervention. You now hold a complete, scientifically sound metabolic recovery plan. We are taking abstract guilt out of the equation and replacing it with a concrete checklist. Target the visceral fat, eat whole foods, and move every day. The human body is incredibly resilient. Almost all of the terrifying health risks we covered fade away once you put this recovery plan into action and objectively track your progress. Taking on a massive shift in your health can absolutely feel overwhelming. Using a physical, structured health journal helps you separate the daily data, like what you ate or how much you moved, from feelings of pressure or shame. The damage is reversible. The plan is in your hands, and your cells are standing by, ready to heal as soon as you start.